off the top. Cheers. Not a smooth one. Every day is arm day is done. Day 16 is what you've been seeing here. That's it. It was a good experiment. I enjoyed it mostly. And my verdict is that it worked to a degree, but the benefit didn't outweigh the cost. The cost being extreme levels of fatigue, and then largely to do with some of my muscle imbalances and issues. This left pec and shoulder has been like pulled out of position for the last 5 days, and I've just been like working through it. But I don't think it's just not sustainable for me. And I feel that my risk of injury has elevated as well. Elbow soreness, I would say, creeped up a tiny bit, but not significantly. I think if I had a more functionable, healthy body, specifically shoulders, there wouldn't be as much of a motivation to stop, or there wouldn't be as many good reasons for it. It would primarily just be the significant degrees of fatigue, which could be potentially addressed with a couple things. One of them being to not train every session like an absolute rabid animal and push every set to failure and beyond, whatever. But I just have one speed, and that's how I like to train. And one of the recent sessions, I backed off and I just didn't push to failure, and it's just boring, and I just don't like training like that. I would rather just take a rest day and be able to come back and hit it hard again the next day. So that's what I realized. I think that you could train arms every day, and I would say, based on my experiment, that there is some unique benefit in it, in that it did lead to additional results for me. They weren't major, but I only did it for 16 days, so you're not expecting to add an inch to your arms in 16 days. But the costs outweigh that small benefit improvement. The other thing too would be the amount of time I'm spending in the gym every single day, due to the amount of stretching and mobility work that I do, which is at least an additional hour for every session. Also training arms and legs both on one day so that I can keep doing arms every single day unbroken. It was very unenjoyable. And so for that multitude of reasons, it wasn't worth it to continue. If the results were incredible, I would say that the benefits would outweigh the costs, and I would have found a way to deal with the costs. So yeah, I think if my recommendation would be that if you were, somebody who's extremely advanced, if you're anything but somebody who's trained super hard and consistently for at least 3 years, don't do this. It's just not necessary. You should just train like a normal person. If you wanted, you could increase your frequency to hitting arms every third day or every second day at most. But other than that, it's not worth it. If you're extremely advanced and you are really, motivated to try to add a little more size to your arms, I think you could do it. Doing an arms every day with some of your other body parts and kind of splitting it up that way. But my recommendation would be to not take all of the sets to failure, and that, one day you maybe push really hard and the next day you kind of have a back off workout and you alternate back and forth. Recovery wise, at least how my body was responding, that's what I would need to do to be able to sustain it and keep doing it. And that, for me, it's just not worth it. I'd rather just take a rest day and then hit it hard again the next day, because I love training hard. That's the main thing with training that I love, is like pushing my limits. And so to go in there and do a workout where I don't take the sets to failure, I'm just like, I can't get into this. I'll just take a rest day. So there you go.